Hello everyone, this is Ashish and welcome back to Momentum Podcast. We are going to have a solo one this time. I want to discuss that one thing that you have been requesting for a long time, and that is consistency. Now this is a little bit weird because I already made a couple of videos on consistency, and this is always the most highly demanded topic, like talk about consistency. And also this is the biggest problem that people think they face while they're trying to study, or they think that this is the biggest hurdle in their way in studying in general, or a lot would even say that in general anything that they are trying to do or achieve, consistency is the biggest problem. Now, like I said, I've made videos on it like 10-minute long, 15-minute long, but it doesn't work really. It does not work because, like I said, it is very heavily demanded topic. So making a video would be very profitable, but at the same time nobody really learns anything out of it because it is impossible to talk about something which is so useful, so highly demanded, and so complicated at the same time in a 10-minute video. It's not possible. So I thought that, well, I do these solo podcasts all the time, so why not dedicate one to serving the need of the topic of consistency. So according to me, I believe that there are three key ingredients of consistency. It's motivation, planning, and execution. Now, a lot of people don't even understand the meaning of all three properly. Like when I say motivation and you think about a video with fire emoji, that's not what I'm talking about. Motivation is completely different, and we are going to talk about what really constitutes motivation. We are going to talk about planning, what I'm really talking about planning. Maybe some of you guys know, but when it comes to consistency, it has its own place. And then we are going to talk about execution, which is the final part and also extremely important. So to those who really want to know what works, I can say this because it worked for me. For those who do not know, I was one of the most inconsistent people that you can find when I was 18 years old. And it all started to change when I got into college, and few things changed about which we are going to talk about. But from there, if I can reach a position when I'm consistently working for the past 6 years, more than that now, I've been saying 6 years for the last 2 years, it's actually almost 10 years now. So 2012 to now it is 2022. If I can consistently work that long, then the interval that you guys want to work, let us say 6 months or 1 year, is kind of very short. But I can assure you this works because there's a very simple and logical way to how it works. It's not difficult at all. I mean, yeah, it is difficult. It's not complicated. It's very simple what you have to do. But you will have to give your patient ears to me if you really want to know what works and what doesn't. If I have to talk about this topic properly in a way that it creates a change in you, then I cannot do it in a 10-minute video, and that is why we are over here. Now let's do it one by one. We are going to first talk about motivation. Now, motivation, what is it? It's definitely not what you get after you watch a 5-minute motivational video, but it really starts with the reason of why you want to do it. And if you're saying that I want to, let us say, crack this XYZ examination, but what after that? So you'll have to ask why you want to do it. And you can't really fool yourself into thinking that this is what you want to do. It's definitely not working like your friend wants to do it. So you either want to be better than your friend, or you just want to prove yourself, or you don't want to be left behind, something like that. And it's definitely not going to motivate you. And those are the people who along the way find that maybe not, maybe I'm not feeling it today. So if you really want it, there's not going to be a single day that you wake up not running after something. That is how it is supposed to work. If it is getting any more difficult than that, then you need to ask yourself a few questions. And the question starts with, what are your reasons? Why are you doing it? And that has a very solid answer if you are going to chase at it for a long duration. So the reason might be anything, but it cannot be, I want to be a topper in this examination, or I want to get into this college, or I want to get this job. Those are not reasons. Those are medals. Medals are not really destinations. So even when you look at medals or fame, you have to really ask what a person is really chasing. And what a person is really chasing is maybe the recognition that comes after you get that. Like there's at least 100 people who have asked me that how to become an ISRO scientist. I want to become an ISRO scientist. And when I ask them, why do you want to become a scientist in the domain of space science and engineering, they don't have any answer. When I ask them, what is the field that you would like to specialize in, they don't have any answer. Do you spend time studying about it all whenever you get your free time? They don't have much answers to that. But they want to have it because it's one of the most recognized job in this country. Those are the reasons most of the time. Or it gives you security, it gives you respect. Those are the things that you're running after. But those are not really some solid values that you should be running after. So like I said, what changed in me when I was 18 years old, and how did it work for me for such a long time? So if you look at it, I had a very strong reason when I was 18. And my reason was my interest towards technology. I started with mechanical engineering. It turned into aerospace engineering. And then it turned into space science and engineering. So that is the life that I want. It's not connected to a job. Obviously, when you want a job in space science and engineering and you are in India, ISRO is the best that you can do. So that was my target. That was not the life that I wanted. And you can see from the example that I left it after 6 months, and that's all in the past, in the history. Actually, more days have passed since I left ISRO than the number of days that I spent in ISRO. So very soon it is going to be more than the days that ISRO and BARC combined have spent over there. So it does not matter, but that was the technology that attracted me. So for you, you'll have to ask some serious questions that what is the kind of life that you want to live? What is the kind of day that you want to start? What do you want to do throughout your day? This is what I'm going to talk in terms of motivation in the most chill manner possible. This is really a motivation that lasts. And you might be wrong to some cases, like you thought that you want that life, but it's not really that life. But it's still worth chasing what you think is what you want. I don't think that there's any reason more justified for you to chase a particular goal. You think that you want to do it, go ahead and try and do it. You like it, you stick with it. You don't, nobody is going to have any obligation for you, right? So that reason is important. Now the second thing is that people hide those reasons a lot from others. They want to keep it to themselves. Well, they very soon start hiding it from themselves as well. They start hiding it to others, and then very soon they start to hide it from themselves as well. Because see, first fear comes that, what if I don't make it? And what will the people tell me? After that, like you said that you wanted to become this and now you're not that, so what? But then very soon you have this secondary layer of fear that, what will I tell myself? So you start telling yourself as well that I'm good with other things as well, right? So you cannot really go towards that, like I want to hide it. Now it's a risk. A lot of people don't want to dream big or have high expectations out of their life, because if they do not make it, it will be very disappointing, or it will hurt a lot mentally. It will hurt a lot. But to me, that is kind of being a coward, honestly. Now I just realized that this is getting very deep, but hang on with me. We are still talking about consistency. So that is about being a coward, because now you're afraid of that pain that comes from failures. And failures are always going to be over there. Look at anyone, there's going to be a failure. It's a part and parcel. It's the part of the whole journey. I think that you understand it. Nobody is going to get anything big without failing at it a couple of times. You can see it from my example as well. You can see it in anyone's example. The only people who made it to what they wanted to do in the first attempt are the people who did not really go for what they really wanted, if that makes any sense. If you bring your level down to what is your actual mark, obviously you're going to get it in the first time. But until unless you're failing, you can't really say that you're pushing yourself beyond the limit, right? So that's what I wanted to say over here when it comes to do not hide it from others, do not hide it from yourself, and never think that you are not capable of that. See, there's not a paper in this world where things are written that you deserve this, this, and this. So nobody really knows. And before anyone else is going to know it, you'll have to decide what you want to go for and what you think you're worthy of, right? You can only go as high as you think you're worthy of, because that mental barrier is going to come, right? So all these things comes into motivation. And that brings me to the third part of motivation, because when that motivation is there and you're not hiding what you want to do, and also you're decided what you want to do, now you want to utilize every second that you have towards that goal, because you are decided. As long as you're playing around and you're hiding things from yourself, and you're not having a solid reason of what kind of life you want or what you want to pursue, not a point in your life that this trophy, this medal, this job, this degree, but what kind of long-term life that you want, as long as that goal is not clear, motivation never really strikes that well, that I want to give every second towards this. Because until that, you are undecided. Once you fix the first two, you're decided pretty well. And after that, it's not even a question. You know what you have to do. You know how you have to do it. And you're not hiding it from anyone. And so you keep on going. And so after that, you start to realize the value of time. And then you understand how hard you need to work. Then the upper limit is fixed. So when I said that don't underestimate yourself and your worth is decided only by you, how much you believe, by that I also mean that you should not look at your starting point when deciding the limit that you want to reach, because all it is a matter of time. Let us say that if your starting point is a little bit low, it might take a little bit longer time, right? But you know what else is going to take a lot longer time? That is you not starting right now. You investing a lot of time thinking or wondering, right? So once those things are clear, motivation is out of the picture. And I think that is the point that most people are struggling at. Because I know when it comes to consistency, the problem is that this is the consistency problem. Like some days you are studying, some days you are not. Sometimes you don't feel like working. Sometimes you're too motivated or you're too jealous and you want to work or study. So it's like an up and down, and it's dangerous. You know it. That is why you are watching this or listening to this, because that is what we call a yo-yo effect, that we have talked about this before, that it's going to actually cause more harm than not doing it at all. Doing it in a fluctuating kind is going to actually cause you more harm, because whatever you learned, whatever you grew towards, you're actually again bringing it back. So it's like a reverse loading all the time. Once you pull it like that, then in the opposite direction, right? Don't bring too much mechanical engineering over here, otherwise I know where people are getting at. But anyways, that's what I mean. Now that is the most important part, because once you understand the value of time, then you stop wasting time. Because when people tell me that I don't want to work for this sometimes, never made sense to me, at least in the beginning part when I did not know much people, because that is that one thing that I cannot comprehend if I do not think about a person might not be motivated in the first place. But once you're motivated, then time most of the time falls short, that you don't have enough of time, right? So that is what you need to fix first. If you blindly started running towards anything and then you're facing lack of motivation, and otherwise some people complain that I don't really know what I want to do, then go ahead and explore that first. Oh, I don't have time for that, I do not have financial support for that, then get a goddamn job and then explore that. These are just excuses, and we have talked about it multiple times that there are always going to be excuses no matter what you do, right? And there are always going to be solution no matter how bad the situations are. Okay, anyways, so what we are getting at, I'm just losing the track of what I was talking about. Maybe I should give it a thought and think about what we are getting at. Yeah, so once the motivation is clear, now you need to talk about planning, right? Because now we are fixed with one thing, that we are going to utilize time as much as possible. Now, by saying that utilizing time, I do not mean that compromise with your sleep, obviously, or compromise with your health. I don't want that kind of bargain. I don't want that kind of exchange that, okay, to get better at academics, I'm going to sacrifice my health. When I'm good at academics, I'm going to focus at my health. And when I'm good at something, let us say when I start earning, I'm going to go to gym, fix my body, things like that. Never works out. I've seen so many people like having gray hairs by the time they are done with competitive examinations, with a big belly, changed completely, body changed. So you have to take care of your health, you have to take care of everything simultaneously, because that is the most important part. Now, I do not have to give you a lecture on that. I think that we all know that all of your success is not going to matter if your health is not on point. How are you going to enjoy it, right? So coming back to the point now once that is clear, we are going to talk about planning. Now, what this planning is, you'll have to understand about it step by step. First, planning itself is a source of motivation. If you do not have a plan, you do not have a direction where you're trying to go at. And then again, like I said, you cannot really fool yourself. So the moment your brain realizes this dude does not know where he's going, what is the reason why I should keep on going? I should just think about random things. And maybe today I'm not feeling like studying. Okay. So you have to have a direction continuously. See, if you think that, oh, it's all in my head, I know what I have to do, bro. But then again, you don't, because in our head, we forget all the time. How many times right now, while having this podcast itself, I forgot at least 3 times what I was talking about. And it happens to you as well all along. How many times like, oh, what was I doing again? Oh, I was going to do something, then I forgot about it. Because your brain is a hazy mess. You cannot rely on it. Now I'm going to make a plan and it's going to stay over there. It's not how it works. How it works is that your plan is supposed to be on a piece of paper. It's going to be written over there so that it stays over there. And then again, about planning, we have talked sufficiently. I'll suggest a video, Art of Planning. Go through it to get a better understanding. But one thing that will help you more than anything else when it comes to consistency is a to-do list. And I can't say it enough. I'll stop talking about it the day you stop asking me questions like how to be consistent. Okay? Deal? All right. Right now, I have a to-do list. Every day, I have a to-do list. Every night, before I go to bed, I have a to-do list of what I'm going to do next day. And this has been going on for the past 10 years. If you ask me what is the golden key to motivation or consistency, I would say a to-do list. Because when you have shit to do, you are going to wake up and do it. But when you don't, then you wake up and you do not know what you have to do. And then you're going to procrastinate and think about all the other things and waste time until you realize that you had to do something. Because like I said, it's a hazy mess. It comes in, it goes out, something, some memory is over here, then it goes out, something flashes up, it goes out. You never have anything under track. So if you wish to keep it under track, you have to write things down, preferably on your wall where you can see all the time. Now here comes the time management part. So how to make a to-do list? You'll have to think about how much time do I have tomorrow. Let us say I have to go to class for 8 hours, and then I'll have to go to gym for 1 hour, and I will have to sleep for 7 hours. So I'm looking at 16 hours gone. I'm having close to 8 hours out of that 3 hours miscellaneous activities. So I have 5 hours. Now this is the time that can be invested in what we can call in the simplest term as your growth. That you want to invest that into becoming better, and that can be gaining knowledge, that can be running 10 kilometers to increase your stamina, that can be anything, but it has to be invested into growing, into improving. Okay, all right, some growth are natural, like you eat food and you grow up, at least till you're 18 years old, and beyond that you grow up from the belly side. but other growths are induced. You have to work on it constantly, and if you don't, there's a other spiral as well. You do not invest that time, you start degrading very soon. Okay, and pretty soon you're an old man. I'm talking like I've seen that, but it's okay, we are all supposed to have some imagination or the other. So yeah, then again, like I said, I'm forgetting again what I was talking about. So you'll have to invest, let us say that 5 hours, and then you'll have to look at what are the tasks that I have to do. Now these tasks will be lined up according to priority, and then you'll have to look at what task is going to take how much time, and obviously the topmost priority task gets done first. So let us say that topmost priority task takes 2 hours, there goes my 2 hours. The rest of the 3 hours, what I'm going to do, I'm going to decide one night before. It's not like I'm going to rely on my memory to remind me tomorrow what are the things that I'm going to do. That is the prime reason why you waste time. That is the prime reason why sometimes you study more and sometimes you study less. And like I said, that's the prime reason for demotivation. You do not know what are the things that you have to do. And the further demotivation comes because you know that you wasted time. So I know these things because I've been there, bro. Like I said, I was exactly at that spot, and it took me at least the beginning 1 year to figure it out, because there's always something else that you can do. Hell, if it was possible for me right now, I would be in 10 places right now. I would be playing video games. I would be, what else? That's a bad thing to have, like only video game comes to me first. Now I would be editing videos right now. I would be reading a book. I would be roaming around. I would be making coffee. I would be writing book. I do write. Some of you guys don't know about it. So I would be doing so many things, right? So if you let your brain fly in random, then it is also going to do whatever the hell it wants. And then you are left with things not done and time gone. So you'll have to write it down. Point being that. And anyone who's writing things down every day is not feeling or facing the problem of consistency. I'll tell you that much. There's a third part as well. Obviously about that we are going to talk. But if you do not do this, until unless you are a super genius, gifted mutant, I do not think that you're going to be able to be consistent. People go super crazy, like they are having apps and all, they're managing it on spreadsheets to have the productivity. Like look at any of the productivity guru. I'm not at that level obviously, but those are the things that definitely helps tracking things down. Other thing is tracking out your progress. Like how much are you improving? Are you improving in the numbers of hours of effective studies? Are you able to do that? So that also can be tracked. When I was studying, I used to track every day how many hours of effective studies am I able to put. Got it? So You should do that. You should measure that. Let us say you are working towards gaining weight. Like I work towards gaining weight. I'm a skinny fellow naturally. So I used to monitor every day. How much do I weigh now? Because only then you will be able to understand what you're doing is correct or not. As they say, if you can't measure it, you can't control it. And how the hell are you going to improve something you cannot control? Are you going to wish that it is going to magically improve? That's not how it works. Alright, now let's talk about something which is the most important part, the third part, that is the execution part. Now, it's very good to have motivation. It is great to have a plan. Let's say you know exactly what you want to do, it is well figured out in your head, and also you have made extensively well planned path of what you're going to do in the next 6 months, next month, next week, next day. Everything is clear. You spent 3 hours planning. Nice. Feels good. Actually, that is also a kind of kick that, okay, I can do it. I can be anything I want to. Yeah, you can be. That now is the hard part. Without the execution part, it's all a fairy tale. It's all like you made it up in your mind. It's like a science fiction movie. You made it up in your mind. But it actually comes into action when you work for it. And that is why it is the most important part. To be very honest, even if you did not have the first two parts, you would have done pretty good in your life. Let us say you don't have any motivation, you don't have any plan. If you just keep on working on a lot of tasks that you assign yourself, you take significant steps on a daily basis, you would be doing better than most, right? It's just that sometimes you will be doing it, sometimes you won't be doing it, so it's not that consistent. And very few people, I would say nobody, is actually that much consistent without any significant motivation or planning. But without execution as well, everything else is useless. So what am I talking about execution? This is actually the most simple part of all that we have talked about consistency so far. Well, execution is basically forcing yourself to do things. Bite your mouthpiece in and get on with it. Like for example, every day there will be some excuse or the other. Don't we give it? Like let us say right now we are at January. Haven't you, if you're living in a cold part of the country, haven't you every now and then said that today it's too cold, can't do much, so maybe I should sleep an hour extra. It's not really my fault. It's an excuse. You're fooling yourself. In that moment, I know there are people who are, damn it, I need to get out and get stuff done. I still remember it was Sikkim, 2013, 14, 15, close to that. And Sikkim is a cold place. It's as mountainous as it gets. So mountainous, there's no railroad over there. I do not know about now, most likely, not even now. So it's super cold, right? And it's December. In that situation also, you would find me 6 o'clock in the morning with my nose freezing. I still remember how my nose used to hurt. That's how cold the air was, even when you're running. And I would be running early in the morning because I have to do it. That's what you have to force yourself. Now, I'm sure that there are people much more motivated than me. Look at David Goggins. Is that his real name? But there are a lot. Like, you'll find a lot. Okay? But what I'm saying is that you'll have to do it. No excuses. Every day you will not feel like working. Every day you will not feel like getting up. Every day you will not feel like going to the gym. But that does not mean that you should not do it every day. That is what is consistency. Yeah, there are break days. Take a break. But then again, if you say that I'm going to work 6 days a week, you're supposed to do it. And here's a problem. If you don't do it, what happens is now you can't really match eyes with yourself because you said that I'm going to do it and you did not. Then, like I said, it's no one else who is judging you, but you are judging yourself, and you know you are judging yourself. And then that kind of degrades an image of yourself in front of you. How terrible that is. Also, the second problem that happens is that if you say that you're going to do something and you do not, then you're opening a floodgate of whole lot of other giving ups, because now you gave yourself that option that okay, it's fine. I slept for 1 hour extra, I did not wake up and go to the gym, doesn't change much, but it does over a long time. See, there are micro results and there are macro results. Micro results would be that you got an A in your semester examination, you got a campus placement job, you got a appraisal from your boss, things like that. And then there's a macro result. There are macro results like over 4 years, 5 years, you develop a skill. Like I developed a skill of martial art over 20 years. Started to develop only in 5 years, but I continued to do it and skill kept on enhancing. I developed a skill in video editing in the last 6 years. It's a skill. I developed a skill in mechanical engineering in the last 10 years. So these skills takes time. The problem is most people don't want to invest that time. Most people don't even want to invest time listening to a podcast. This is the day and age of reels, TikToks, and shorts. Everybody wants a quick information. They think that it is really going to change their life. People don't read books anymore. They just can't. Forget about books are longer than movies. People don't even watch movies anymore, right? There's so much consumed into short, quick results. Like I said, micro. It's like nano results, pico results, right? So you can't really build anything significant with that mentality. Big results requires patience. And for that, you require long duration of working on a particular skill. Let's take an example of competitive examination. I was horrible at solving numericals. There were like at least 80% of the questions that I knew how to solve and ended up solving it wrong. But that over 3 years turned into my strength. That now I'm not making even a single silly mistake because I kept on doing the same thing, solving more and more questions to the point that that has become a skill of mine. So anything significant that is going to really separate you from the others, because like I said, nobody wants to really invest time in this. So over time, that difference between you and others who are not working is continuously expanding, and that has a beauty on itself, and that is very rare. A person who has invested years and years developing a particular skill, that has tremendous amount of value which is irreversible. Nobody can take it away from anyone. Like another skill is like speaking. I started working on my speaking skills somewhere in 2013 or 14. And from that point, I never really stopped. And then that is a point where I am right now, and I'm not stopping yet. Wait till you see me 5 years later. So you can pick any of my videos like 2 years ago. You can see the difference in speaking right away, right? Even there, you can see the difference. Pick my first few videos and you're going to understand a bigger difference. So any skill that you have to learn, you have to invest time into that. I'm extremely sorry that I'm using my examples. The main reason for that is that I know myself the best, and that is why examples comes all the time. But there are a lot of examples. You pick any singer, any player, anything, any sport, you go over there. Nobody learned anything in a short duration. Does not work like that. Might work in some of your movies that you have watched, because they want to also capitalize on giving that drug that you want, that you want to see someone succeed. Like, haven't you seen that movie Never Back Down? So this guy all of a sudden comes to the college and gets beaten down by the bully of the college. I think it was school, not sure. And within months takes up MMA coaching and beats him down. Doesn't really work like that. Or watch the oldest movie like Karate Kid. He comes to a new city, gets beaten down, Someone takes him under, learns very quickly, beats him. That is what everyone wants to be like. That is what everyone wants the life to be like. Quick results. But in real life, show me one person who learned that quickly, right? There are a lot of examples. Take at the movie Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. So there's this one guy who's like the drift king, and all of a sudden a new guy comes. He doesn't even know what drifting is, and spends time like couple of months. And now he beats him. Doesn't really work in real life though, right? And in reality, the life that you are going to live, where you have really created a change, is not going to be comparable to any movie. But when you try to write it down on a book, you'll have to change a lot of things, because it won't be interesting to others. It would be interesting to you because you have shown the patience, you have shown the perseverance, you have suffered, and after that, even a little success gives you a tremendous amount of joy, and all those dark times feels like a good time now, right? But others don't have the patience to listen. You used to go to library and study over there. Then what? Next day, same. Next day, same. 1 month later, same. 2 years later, same. Oh my God, this is a boring story. So you'll have to quickly cover a lot of episodes of your life, right? But anyways, different perspectives. But I hope that you got my perspective. All right, these are my ideas, and from my honest views, the most honest views that I can put over here. Like I said, there are no cuts over here. That is why I wanted it to be a podcast. I have depicted the 3 most essential pillars of consistency. It's not that simple. It's not as simple as just making a to-do list. It's not as simple as finding out what you want to do. It's not as simple as forcing yourself. But it is simple as having all 3 of them. And you need to sit down someday alone and think about what you're lacking at and how you're going to develop or work upon that. And that's about it, guys. Hope you liked the solo version of Momentum Podcast as well. If you did, if you like solo versions and you want it to be more frequent than it is right now, put it down in the comment section. Maybe we can do even 2 Momentum Podcasts a week. Maybe in one I'm just going to talk. Does not really take a lot out of me. And I enjoy talking to you, sharing my views. And if you disagree, do let me know. I'm open to opinions, just like I've shared my opinions. There's no solid science over here, but this is what worked for me. That's about it, guys. See all of you in the next one. Momentum Podcast is a weekly podcast, and the audio versions are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all the other audio platforms. You can find the links down in the description box. I'll see all of you in the next one. Till then, bye.